What's up, guys? Machado here, live with Pro Play Games, owner of Team Ultra Pro Play Games, and this is my deck profile for the top 32 performance that I had at the ARG Orlando Semi-Regional. We played this guy, Frieza, brand new leader from the draft pack. Here's the backside. Frieza is a house. It's a fantastic leader, and it just came out in the draft box about a week ago, so not a lot of people had this to test with at big events. And once we started playing with it, we realized what the hype was about, and this card was insane. Out of the 12 that topped the event, I believe about 6 of us were on it and were PBG players. So testing for this really helped, and a lot of people weren't really on the same thing as we were. So we were happy that we got on this guy before a lot of other guys. But on the first side, he reduces the cost of any extra card. So Sensu Bean, Objection, Whisk Coercion. Reduces it by 1. So if it costs 1, it's nothing, free, just by taking a life. So I can play my Sensu Bean by just taking a life and untap 2 mana, etc., etc. It's really fantastic leader, and we primarily use it so that we can awaken very fast in this deck. The primary goal is just get them flipped as soon as possible, go to 4 life, then draw 2 cards, and you're awakening turn 1, and you're already off to the gates, and you have a bunch of cards in hand. And it's really fantastic. If sell players try to sell you, you cold bloodlust them and you drop them right in their spot. And then the other side, same thing, but instead of reducing it by 1, it reduces it by 2. So objection will be completely free just by taking a life. We don't use this side too much. We just try to, we just use it so that when it attacks, it draws 1. That's the primary reason why we play this. But put this over here. That's the leader that we went with, and the deck was a mono blue control variant. So we just wanted to make sure we flipped, had a lot of cards, had things to interact with our opponent, and make sure we didn't die. So we play for the 1-drop lineup. We play Bulma and energy boosted Majin Buu. Now these are some of the premier 1-drops in the whole game. Bulma searches you a Whis. There's 2 different Whis that you can search, and energy boosted Majin Buu will help you cycle through your deck, draw a card, and then you have a creature on board that you can use a combo and stay alive. So 2 premier cards. Deck thinning is great, being able to get another card. You can use it as energy if you like. You can use it as a creature later on, so that you can search like a threat or something that you don't die with. The only target that we play for the Bulma is for blocker Whis, aka dabbing Whis, aka Sacred Guard Turbo Dot deck. This is a very fantastic card. Usually a lot of people play the other one, the Resting Attendant. That's the one that once you play it, you take the top card of your deck and put it as an energy. That one was fantastic all the way up to when Frieza came out, because the other one was great for like ramping strategies, but this one's not a ramping strategy. You normally cap out at 4 or 5 energy, so you don't really care about ramping. This is just about staying alive, and this is the guy that makes you stay alive. He's huge. Also, the other one I think is like 10,000 attack, and this one's got 20,000 attack, so double the amount of strength, and it's also got a permanent ability that it cannot be KO'd or cannot leave the battlefield due to skills. So Beerus, Frieza, Determined Gohan, Raging Attacker Vegeta, none of those are effective against this Whis, as well as Cell. So that's a big perk to this card. It's just immune to the leader Cell when it starts trying to remove some threats. So it's a huge body, and he's able to go aggressive, he's able to go defensive, he's everything that you want in a card, and it cannot be cold bloodlust, so it's really fantastic. To round out the 4 drops, we played energy boosted Beerus. Energy boosted Beerus should not be a new card to anyone for the most part. It's a blue removal, 20k attack, double strike, and once it hits the field, it just automatically removes a threat on your opponent's board. Still can be cold bloodlusted, that's still an issue, but the body at 20k at a 4-drop, and then being able to regain double strike next turn will be fine. It is one of the only spot removals that we play in the main deck for this particular deck, and it's something that you want to use conservatively, but it's the only piece of real removal that you can actively just play. So sometimes against other Cold Lust decks, this is their only active target, other than the other card that we played here. But let me put these here, and then to round out our creatures, we played 4 Prince of Speed, Vegeta. Vegeta was our pretty much refill engine. That after you played all these cards and you try like controlling your opponent, you usually give up a lot of cards, defending yourselves, comboing, etc., etc. This was another threat. So you had, these were your threats. This was a threat that killed things, and this was a threat that regained you cards. They were both sitting at the 20k line for power, which is pretty good. It's not the best. You want to usually hit a little bit higher, but this was good enough. You know, you can combo with one of these, hit the 25, and you're good. And they both have double strike, and they're just fantastic to be able to go aggressive on your opponent when you hit them down with multiple double strikers. That's what you want to be doing. And this guy was really good. Just being able to replenish cards is just good. And these are the 2 main Cold Bloodlust targets. You're usually either Cold Bloodlusting this or this. It would suck when you hit it on this. Sometimes I'd side this card out. It's just, it sucks, but it's going to happen. Something's going to get Cold Bloodlusted, and you just got to deal with it. But those were the threats that I chose to go with. I didn't choose to go with too many. Like I said, this is a control deck, and we weren't trying to like really kill our opponent fast. So that was a perk and a negative at the same time. And then for the pumps, a lot of people were making fun of us because we were used pumps and not combo, but pumps is pretty much the PVG thing, I guess. Let me put this pretty one in front. We had 4 Dodorias, 4 Jacko, and 2 Further Destructing Champa. Now, for Dodoria, obviously one of the perfect guards, we like to call them, the 10k, draw 1 card, every color has them. So because we're playing a yellow leader, we're playing Dodoria, of course. We never really charge it for yellow. Sometimes I see people do it. I just don't I don't get why. Ultimate Judgment Jacko. This card was extremely good. We were playing a full playset of 4. The reason was because this was a control deck, and we didn't want to die. We didn't want people shotgunning us with their whole hand, like dropping their whole hand once we say no blocks. That's what we call by shotgun, and just kill us. That happens a lot because you go down to 4, and then you take 1 sometimes from like a Cold Bloodlust, and then you go to 2. Like once you're at 2, you're pretty much dead. 2 is like 1 because of this card. So a lot of people played Champa, and a lot of people will play it randomly. Like even sub players were playing this, so it's just something that you can just die to. So sometimes you just don't want to die to that card, and you just got to play defensive cards like Jacko. It's a 5k too, so it's just really, really good. Furthering Destruction Champa, it's something that, shout out to Eddie on this card. Eddie, here's your shout out that you were asking about. He told me, hey man, don't put it in the side, just put it in the main. It's going to win you so many games. This and we Sacred Guard, you're just going to win. Trust me, you're going to win. And I was like, are you sure? I'm not sure if you're 100%. I'm like, but whatever. I'm going to listen to you, Eddie. I believe you. I trust you. You're smart. You're good at this game. I'm just going to go with what you told me. So I played it, and I didn't regret it. It took me it got me like 4 or 5 games. And it did not underperform all day. It was really cool. People didn't really see it coming. Somebody even tried to Jacko it back to like take away double strike, and I was just like, I don't think it works like that. It only takes away the 10k. Remember, guys, the double strike will still be on the creature, even if you do remove it. And then for extra cards, these are the cards that we would cast with the Mecha Frieza's first side, with the regular Frieza. Turn one, you want to be casting these cards for the most part. Objection and Manaka. Objection, obviously everybody knows about this card. It's just very good to ramp yourself. A fun fact about this card, actually, you pay the 1 blue, right? You take the other card from your life as the cost to pay it, and then that card that you take, you can actually put as energy if you choose to do so, or it can be any other card. But you take the life first, then you finish resolving the objection effect. But this card, it made this card just so much more fantastic. You have more options to see what you want to charge, and then you normally pull this off turn 1, obviously. And Encouraging Presence Monaka. Now this is a 1-cost extra card. So with Frieza, it's technically free if you take a life. Now, once you take a life, you add a card to your hand, and this draws you a card. So, for you Yu-Gi-Oh players that just came over, who likes Pot of Greed? I love Pot of Greed. So, this is Pot of Greed right here. You take a life, and you draw a card. So, you essentially add 2 cards for the cost of 1, and you lower your life down, obviously, in the process. But it's a fantastic card. It also gives your leader double strike, which is actually relevant when you're actually trying to get aggressive and go for game. But if you open this turn 1, 2, you're usually not, turn 1 you're obviously not swinging unless you went second. But you still play this card because it's completely free. And you want to play as much of these as possible because you want to just get as many cards in your hand so that you can awaken, so that you can further your game state before your opponent flips. So really good card. I find myself just playing this and not even swinging sometimes because I didn't want to awaken my opponent. But Monaka was a breakout card for this event, and this is something that a lot of people didn't even think about until we showed up to the event with it. So fantastic card. Then for extra deck cards, we play the Sensu Bean and the Whis Coercion and the Cold Bloodlust. These are all pretty self-explanatory. We want to play 4 Bloodlust. Worst case scenario against a dead matchup or a matchup that you only need to resolve 2, we charge 1 so that we don't have to take a life. I kind of wish I played more yellow cards like Peter did. He played like the yellow Frieza that combos so that he can like charge it whenever and then just still keep the playset of Cold Bloodlust active in his hand and not have to charge it to Doria. So that's something that we might change going forward, but this was good enough. Like, I just wanted to resolve 1, 2 Cold Bloodlust, and if I had to resolve more, then, you know, it just sucks when you get down to 4 life and then you have Cold Bloodlust, or 3 life and then you get Cold Bloodlust and you're like, you know, do I really want to play this? Because I might just die to like a Chomper or something, but it happens. And then obviously Whis Coercion, no explanation necessary. This is actually very good when you activate Frieza. You just take a life and then you could restand any energy. So sometimes you could restand a card for the Cold Bloodlust or something. Sensu Bean's really good. Sometimes I'd use it to awaken myself. I just, you know, cast something, tap out, then you know, attack with something, play Sensu Bean, untap my energy, get another card, flip, you know, play something else. It's just really good and really insane what you can do with this leader. It makes the other cards just so much more insane. That wasn't even 40 in the main deck. 50, sorry. Just like normal. Now, in the side deck, we played 3 Returning Evil Golden Frieza. This card, shout out to Chrisabella. This is something that I really wanted to make for the longest time. Me and him were like, man, why is this card so cheap? Why is this card like $1? Like, this card is so good. Blah, blah, blah. And we finally had the opportunity of playing this card, and this deck was the deck. He was main decking it. I was side decking it. It was just really good all day. I wish I probably would have taken out some Princess Speeds for him, but at a 25k body, oh, this is supposed to be another 2, but as soon as this went up to like $10, thanks Peter, I just listed mine, so I still have, I only have 1 left, but it's fantastic. It's just, it reads when you summon it, you can choose any one of your battle cards, put it back to your hand, and then this takes something on the field and puts it to the bottom of the deck. So you remove any one of their threats, and at the same time you replenish one of your cards. So you could replenish a Majin Buu, replenish a Bulma, replenish itself. That's pretty cool, right? You play Frieza, bounce it back, play it again, you know. Super fun card, and I'm glad we played it. It's really good. You definitely need this card, and I would play it in the main deck if I had to again. If you don't have this card, pick it up. We actually have some at Pro Games. It's those 2 right there, so you can buy mine. Mafuba was the other side deck card that we used. Mafuba in this deck is free on the other side, 1 mana on one side, so it's actually a negate that saves you for 2 turns. So Mafuba, great card, even better card with Frieza. It's just really good to pretty much fend off the aggressive decks. And then we played Mysterious Presence Monaka. We played the other Monaka. These are the only 2 Monaka cards in the whole game, and we played them both because they're so fantastic. This one's a 3-drop, so this one you can play as a creature. It's got 1500 attack, so it's still very powerful. It can still hit the leader. I don't know how. This Monaka is so troll. And it's a 5k. That's good, so when you draw, you can actually combo with this, so this is not as bad. Now, it reads when you play this card and you have no other battle cards other than this card, you can choose one up to your opponent's battle cards and place that card on top of their deck. So, and against cell players, it's just literally a nightmare. You put the perfect cell back on top, all the other ones fall to the graveyard, and then next turn they're dead drawing a cell. It's just so good. But I was not able to live that dream the whole tournament. This card was still very good against very aggressive decks that you're getting rid of all their Bulmas or whatever, or I'm getting rid of all my Bulmas and my Bajabus, and they're like Sun Gotenksing everything, like, and then this just sets them back. It's just like, yo, chill, put that back, and just like reset from normal, you know. So this was a very fantastic card, and I decided it in a lot. It's just a really cool card for the most part. It's just like, think about it like a Beerus, but on turn 3, except, you know, they have to recast it. That, you know, energy's a resource, and if they have to use it again, that's fantastic, because then I have a beater, and then I have a combo piece. And then the other last card that we played as a playset was the Crusher Ball. Crusher Ball is the only other yellow card that we played in the whole 65 card main side, and this is good as another yellow charge early game, and then you would save it. This is very good against Jiren and Gohan and a lot of the red decks, and a lot of those decks that look try to summon something and then just kill you. You just set them back a turn. Also very good against Whi's Sacred Guard, actually. So those more aggressive yellow decks, when they're playing against us, they side this in, they play the Whi's Guard, and it's just, it's the worst. But that was pretty much the side deck. I don't think that this was the best side deck at all. I didn't really side too much of these cards in against any deck. I mean, like I said, Monaka came in all the time. Mafuba, a few times, only in multiples of 2. I probably would have used the other 2 for something else. The Frieza was fantastic, but like I said, I probably would have put it in the main deck. And then the Crusher Ball was good. I mean, Crusher Ball to me is just, you know, it depends on when you draw it. You know, it's just a great card when it gets there, and if not, you just, I guess you can just charge it. It's not that bad. But that's pretty much it for the deck profile. Thank you guys so much. Shout outs to our sponsor, Ultra Pro. They've been fantastic. They hooked it up with sleeves, they hooked it up with hats, they hooked it up with like sweaters with the, you know, logo all over. Like, they hooked it up with playmats. Like, there's nothing that they don't hook it up with. They're literally the best sponsor, and that's one of the reasons why we're the best team to be on, because we get so many additional perks from all our sponsors. It's really fantastic. And then shout out to Pro Play Games. I mean, it's just amazing. Anytime you guys need anything, just let us know. We normally always have it, and you know, fantastic. And everybody that goes to the store, just fantastic place. We are a brick and mortar, and we love our players, and you know, they're super passionate about us. So nothing much else to say there. Thank you guys, and shout out to everyone that I met at the regional. It was a really fantastic time. I didn't think I'd get there, and it was just really exciting to get there. And then I ended up losing to one of our players, which I was super, I'm glad. I'm like, at least I lost to one of our players, Marcel, another great player. He'll be on the channel soon. But that's my deck profile. I'll hopefully see you at Vegas. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any suggestions or cool tips on the deck, just leave it in the comments below. And other than that, that's me, Machado, and I'm out.